No flagrant foul has been assessed to Victor Wembanyama for his body slam to Jalen Brunson in Game 3. Jose Alvarado pops off a little bit. We got to talk about, will the Knicks retaliate? Are we going to see the Knicks throw a couple cheap shots in retaliation to this? And we also got to talk about, should the New York Knicks have been suspended for leaving the bench? There's a subtle cheap shot to Wemby that happened in Game 3 that I didn't see anybody talk about until I looked at the internet this morning. Is Victor Wembanyama the NBA's new golden boy? Spike Lee's talking about a parade. Donald Trump will not attend Game 4. And anything else you guys want to talk about. Thank you for being here. Run It Back NBA daily live show. What do we call this, man? I've been doing the post-game lives after the NBA Finals games, and that's been fun. And but I haven't been doing these daytime lives since I started doing that. And so sorry for leaving you guys hanging here, you guys that got used to the daytime lives. Thank you for coming back. I'm going to do my best to do the post games after the NBA Finals games and also do these daily lives on top of that. No promises, but I'm going to do my best, all right? Thank you for being here. Who's in the chat, man? Let's see. If you're planning on saying the Knicks players should be suspended for leaving the bench during the Hart-Cornet scuffle, they left the bench when the timeout was called. Well, we're going to look at it, and we're going to see if you're right or if you're wrong, Mr. Effie Nitro. OBJYN, absolutely insane YouTube name. I remember when the Knicks inbounded, and I think it was Harper, ran off the bench and onto the... but I am a chud, according to OBJYN, but you are here watching and listening. Thank you for being here. We're eating baguettes today. BTA incoming. Belt to ass. Incoming. Agent Paul 22. What's going on, man? The assaulted San Antonio fans will be happy. Yeah, that was crazy, man. Like, I got to be honest about that situation. The assaulted San Antonio fans. But, you know, the emotions are so much higher during the playoffs, but definitely during an NBA Finals run when a team hasn't won in 50 years, when a team hasn't been back to the NBA Finals in 27 years. And so, like, on the topic of fans getting assaulted after the game, I'm not justifying it by any means. That should never happen. You know, it's just a sport. You should be able to wear a jersey and not have people, you know, assault you. You expect boos, you expect heckling and things like that, but, like, it should be just sports. But at the same time, these are kids. You know what I mean? Look at the videos, man. These are kids. These are 21-year-old kids out there. They're not going to act right. And it's not just New York, Philly, Boston. It's anywhere. These are intoxicated 21-year-old kids. They're not going to act right. So the smart thing to do, unfortunately, is to not wear a San Antonio Spurs jersey in New York City after a New York Knicks loss. That's just that, like, that's what I take from it. I'm not justifying it, but I mean, how dumb are you? Don't walk through the city in a Spurs jersey after the Knicks lose an NBA Finals game. Probably not a good idea. Don't walk through the city of Philly in a Dallas Cowboys jersey if the Cowboys beat the Eagles in a playoff game. Just don't do that. You know what I'm saying? What else we got, bro? William Irvine, what's up, man? Thanks for coming through, bro. Let's see. Canosaurus Tex. Why would you wear a jersey to a game? Someone, Alakazam. Someone's going to put that hit out on Wemby's knees after all this. Look, I hope that doesn't happen either, man. You know, we don't got to go there either. I hope the Knicks retaliate because it's hooping. You know, it's sports. Somebody's going to put a hard shot on Wemby. You know, we got to expect that. But we're not out there trying to injure guys. We're not out there trying to take out knees. We're not out there trying to cause torn ACLs, meniscus, MCLs, and things like that. We're not trying to end a guy's season or put him out for the whole next season. We're not trying to do that. We're not trying to do that. All right, let's get into it, man. Thank you guys for hanging out. Let me see. We got 84 people in here live right now. Thank you for coming through. Let's get into the business, man. Hit the like button for me one time. Order of business number 1. No flagrant upgrade on the uncalled foul of Spurs Victor Wembanyama to Knicks Jalen Brunson on Monday night, a league spokesperson tells ESPN. And if you haven't seen the play, if you've been living under a rock, it's in the replies here. We're going to look at it. But Victor Wembanyama was not assessed a flagrant. Now, when you saw the play after the game, because I didn't see it live, and clearly the officials didn't see it live, when you saw the play after the game, you were like, yeah, they're definitely going to look at that and give him a flagrant foul, right? They looked at it, and apparently, somehow, some way, decided this is not a flagrant foul. And I'm going to tell you why. And Knicks fans, you're going to like this. You're going to love this, Knicks fans. The thing is that when it comes to Knicks fans and me rooting against the Knicks, yes, I would love the Knicks to blow this series more than anything in the world. But I try to be as objective as possible. And the funny thing is that Knicks fans love you when you talk good about their team. They hate you when you root against their team. And that's what I'm experiencing as a content creator in these NBA Finals. But I'm just trying to be as objective as possible, man, from an outsider perspective. But, yeah, I don't know how you look at that play and don't give a flagrant foul there. And I think the real reason is this, man. I said, you know, what happens if you get 2 flagrant foul points in a playoff series? Nothing happens, but if they accrue 3 flagrant points in the playoffs, a player is only assessed an automatic 1 game. Oh, 4, I'm sorry. Wemby already has 2 flagrant points in these playoffs. If he accumulates 4 flagrant points are coming from, Wemby would get a 1-game suspension if he reaches 4 flagrant points. Obviously, I mean, we can all agree on this. Look, I'm not one that says the NBA is rigged and none of that stuff, right? But we can all definitely agree on this. The NBA does not want Victor Wembanyama to be suspended for one of these NBA Finals games, right? This is making the NBA a bajillion dollars every game. And so, you know, to me, if you look at the play in slow-mo and they say, we decided it wasn't a flagrant, that's just the NBA choosing to not give Victor Wembanyama another flagrant point. Because if he goes and gets a flagrant foul in Game 4, he's going to be suspended for Game 5. And the NBA can't have that. Straight up from an entertainment perspective, the NBA cannot have that. From a business perspective, they can't have that. Now, Shams responds to his own tweet, and he says, Senior Vice President of Referee Development and Training, Monty McCutcheon, admitted a foul should have been called on Wembanyama's shove to Brunson's upper body. No further action from the NBA. Now, I'm sure Knicks fans are handling this with grace, right? So let's look at the replies here. Let's see. Flagrant, no flagrant. So they're talking about the flagrant where Jalen Brunson landed under Julian Champagne's feet while he was shooting a 3, and this is a flagrant foul by rule. You had to call this a flagrant foul. I don't know how people are arguing that. If you watch the replay of this, Brunson lands under his feet. That's a flagrant foul by rule because of the Kawhi Leonard. Who was it that closed out on Kawhi Leonard in those playoffs and ruined the NBA Finals for the Spurs or the playoff series? I don't remember. That was so long ago. But anyway, yeah, no flagrant here for this one. And that should have been a flagrant, definitely. Let's see if somebody definitely posted to play in I thought it was right in the replies. I was just going to scroll down and play the video, but I guess I'll have to search for it. Let's see. Wemby, Brunson. I just want to look at the actual play, and okay, here we go. Let's see. So the NBA looked at this and said, this is not a flagrant foul. They looked at it after the game. After the game, they looked at it and said, this is not a flagrant foul. Let's check. Now, look, here's the first thing. Brunson is holding Wemby's jersey. All right? You can see that with his left arm right there. And here's what the Knicks are doing. They're trying to get under Wemby's skin, and they're trying to get him to crash out like this, and it worked right here, right? This is kind of the same thing the Minnesota Timberwolves were doing to Wemby, and he retaliated and threw that elbow to the side of Naz Reid's head and got ejected from the game. And I'm not saying the Knicks shouldn't be playing like this. This is a clear strategy. Wemby's not the strongest center of gravity type of player, right? And if you want to keep him out of the paint, or you want to just play him more physical, right? You want to get in his head. He's a young player. You want to get him off his game. You want to get under his skin. This is what teams have been doing against Wemby these whole playoffs. The Oklahoma City Thunder with the Isaiah Hartenstein, situation there in Game 2. So the Knicks clearly have been playing him like this. So let's get up under him. Let's get into him. Let's grab his jersey. Let's pull him. Let's grab his arms. You remember the Knicks getting called for all these fouls in Game 3 where they're holding his arm as he's trying to grab a rebound. Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns. They're playing him very physically. It's a specific strategy. It's one to defend him, but it's also to try to get under his skin and try to get him to crash out. So I just want to say that Jalen Brunson is definitely up under him and grabbing his jersey here. And Wembanyama retaliates with a... Bro. Okay, I am absolutely blown away that the NBA sees a blatant shove to the back of the head. There's no other explanation. There's no other explanation than the NBA didn't want to give Wemby his third flagrant point, because then if he gets another flagrant foul, he's suspended for 1 game. There's no other explanation. There's no way they looked at that and said that's not a flagrant foul. And honestly, if they would have looked at it in game, now this isn't like the elbow to the head of Naz Reid, totally, right? But what's the rule in a flagrant 2? Unnecessary contact, not a basketball play, wind up and impact, right? I guess you can't say this was wind up and impact, but a hand to the back of the head and just a shove to the ground. If they would have looked at it live in game, he might have been ejected in the game for that play. And so Wemby needs to get it together. Wemby needs to get it together. Now, because you just can't let the New York Knicks take you to that level, because that's what they're trying to do, and they should be doing that. Here's Alvarado on Victor Wembanyama. Jose Alvarado said, that'll be the last one. Jose Alvarado said. Knicks Jose Alvarado warns Victor Wembanyama after Jalen Brunson cheap shot. That'll be the last one. Let's see the actual quote here. This is from the New York Post. Jose Alvarado throwing the threats out there. Jose Alvarado said, I think that's not basketball. That's something they got to look at, but he got away with one, and that'll be the last one. Now, is he saying that he got away with one and that'll be the last one, like the NBA won't let him get away with another one there? Or is Jose Alvarado saying, if he does it again, I'm gooning? If he does it again, I'm gooning. I'm out there. And as somebody in the chat said when we first started the show, Jose Alvarado is going to headbutt Victor Wembanyama in the nuts. Dude, I love you for saying that. That was so funny because the image of him. Anyway. So now you got some threats from Jose Alvarado, right? Here's Draymond Green on the situation. And I'm just kind of putting this all together and trying to decide if the New York Knicks are going to throw some cheap shots at Victor Wembanyama. Here's what Draymond Green said about the situation.
Don't not for 1 second think he pushed him down and none of the guys on the Knicks team did anything. Don't not for 1 second think that didn't matter. Oh, that mattered.
Jalen Brunson stood up for himself there, but nobody else really did.
I wish Steph Curry would stand up for himself right there and not just watch Victor Wembanyama take his hand in the back of Steph Curry's head.
What would Draymond Green have done right there?
I'm probably going to get thrown out right there. And it may cost us game 3. But game 4.
You would have done, what was the thing you said to that Hana Hoops account? I'm going to crush those tickets.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you would have done.
Absolutely.
Right
like, by the way, you're not pushing Steph Curry by the back of the head down to the ground. And I'm seeing Josh Hart was like, yo, no, you get right in there and you make something happen. Because guess what? I may get thrown out of game 3 because you're not doing that. But when I come back for game 4, you got to deal with me. And you got to deal with me.
Well, here's the thing, Draymond. The Knicks players are smarter than you. I understand exactly what Draymond Green's saying. If somebody pushes your guy to the ground like that, you want to fight? And Draymond Green would have done that. And he would have been ejected from game 3. And he might have started an entire brawl that might have landed him with a game 4 suspension, affecting his team's chances of winning the NBA Finals. Josh Hart is a smarter player than Draymond Green. Everyone on the Knicks are smarter than Draymond Green. Draymond Green cannot control his anger, and he definitely would have been ejected right there. Josh Hart and everybody saw it happen, but they know the same thing I'm saying about Wemby. You can't let the Knicks get under your skin and get you to crash out and get you to throw a punch or something and get ejected from a game. The New York Knicks players know the same thing. You can't let Wemby or anyone on the Spurs get under your skin and make you crash out and get ejected from a game. So, no, I don't. I mean, I agree that Draymond Green would have been thrown out from the game, but I don't agree that the Knicks players should have done something more than they did. Maybe somebody should have stood up to him a little bit, right? Maybe on a step stool or something, got in his grill. But I don't think they should have, like Draymond Green's trying to say they should have started a fight or something. I don't think they should have done that. Will the Knicks retaliate? I think you're going to see that in this game. I think you're going to see some shots to Victor Wembanyama in this game. And again, I hope it's not like I hope we're not diving at knees. I hope we're not stepping on feet like Chet Holmgren. I hope we're not trying to injure guys. You know what I'm saying? But the New York Knicks have already been playing Wemby very physically. I think you're going to see some shots to Victor Wembanyama in this game. Some real, shoulder, knock him out of bounds. Take a foul, but make it a hard one. I think that's what you're going to see. Remember when Victor Wembanyama walked to the bench and told Mason Plumlee and Diabate, he plays for the Hornets. I forget who it was. But remember when Wemby was walking to the bench and told these guys, hey, hard fouls. And they threw the shot to the back of Jared McCain, right? You're going to see stuff like that from the New York Knicks tonight. Do you remember the Carter Bryant shot on SGA in the Western Conference Finals where he runs from the three-point line and just pow! Shoulder checks the shit out. You're going to see stuff like that from the New York Knicks on Wemby tonight. And you should. You absolutely should. The New York Knicks absolutely should take a couple of hard shots to Victor Wembanyama in this game because the Spurs want to send a message, right? And if Wemby wants to send a message of, hey, I'm not going to be pushed around, I'm not going to let you grab my jersey and grab my arms and hold me like this, I'm going to start throwing shots, I'm going to start, pushing guys to the floor, I'm going to start fighting back, then the Knicks got to do the same thing. The Knicks got to say, hey, if you think you're going to be out here just grabbing my dude from the back of the head and throwing him on the floor, we got to send a message in return. And I don't want to see fights. I don't want to see guys get injured. And the NBA is definitely going into this game, the officiating crew and everybody is definitely going into this game knowing all of this. They're definitely going into this game knowing we can't let this turn into a WWE match. We can't let this turn into an all-out brawl. We got to keep this under control. But we know that the Knicks are going to retaliate. We know that the Knicks are going to take some shots at Victor Wembanyama. Now, if you go out there in the first 5 minutes, the first substitution, If the first substitution you see Diawara come in the game, if the first substitution you see Jeremy Shohan come in the game, something's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I think the NBA has to get ahead of it before it happens. I don't think Wemby shouldn't have done what he did. And when the Knicks retaliate, I don't think the Knicks shouldn't have done what they're about to do. It's all sports. It's all part of it. The NBA has to keep it under control. Shout out to Too Many Clamps 130. I'm not a Knicks or Spurs fan, but let's all stop calling people in their 20s kids. They are full-grown adults. Accountability is testing and production at this point for them, and they must learn. Yeah, look, man, I turned 40 in a couple of months. 21-year-olds to me are kids. That's what I say when I talk about 21-year-olds, and the reason is 21-year-olds are not grown up. They haven't in a situation like that. They are kids. You're not going to see a bunch of 40-year-old grown men outside of Madison Square Garden attacking people. And why? Because they're grown-ups. They got families. They had to get home and get to bed so they get enough rest to get to work in the morning. 21-year-olds are kids. I'm not excusing their behavior. I'm saying that it's expected. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a point for them and they must learn. Yes, they must learn. And when those same people that were attacking Spurs fans outside of Madison Square Garden are 31 years old, they'll look back on that and be like, wow, that was stupid. I was a dumb 21-year-old at that time. I'm not excusing their behavior at all. I'm saying it's expected. What do you do when you drive past a bar at 2 o'clock in the morning and you see a fight outside? Are you shocked? Or are you like, that's expected? Yeah, we're not excusing it. We're saying it's expected. And it is. It is. So that's why I use the word kids when I talk about 21-year-olds attacking people outside of Madison Square Garden. That's just the reality of it, if you ask me. Let's see. Number 1, Brunson. Number 2, Alvarado auto suspended. I don't know what that means. But thank you for the super chat. I don't know. Maybe that just wasn't descriptive enough. But hey, Z Corp Alpha, thank you for the $20 super chat, my man. Sal, former WFAN New York, wants Knicks to get extremely physical in Game 4. Sal, former of WFAN New York. Are you saying you? Are you saying this is you? You used to be on WFAN? Or are you saying a former WFAN personality was on a different platform saying he wants the Knicks to get extremely physical in Game 4? Thank you for a $20 super chat, and I agree. They are going to get extremely physical in Game 4. But again, I hope we're not taking shots at guys taking cheap shots or anything like that. I hope it's just some hard fouls. Look at the video of Hart 3-point where Wemby fouls him. I'll have to try to find that. Thank you for that super chat. And we got another one here from Z Corp Alpha. Embarrassing, the Time magazine made LeBron player of the 21st century. Seriously. Well, I don't know what my opinion is on that. Thank you for the super chat. It's a little bit off topic. I'm not going to lie to you. Time magazine made LeBron James the player of the 21st century. That's embarrassing? How is that embarrassing? LeBron James is absolutely... I mean, what? When you... Bro, come on now. Z Corp Alpha, come on now. When you think about basketball in the last 20 years, it's LeBron James. There's nothing else to say about it. It's LeBron James. Let's see. Bezzy Boy 6, thank you for the super chat. How many more incidents like this before Wemby is labeled a dirty player? It's adding up. International players do have that reputation. They do have that reputation. You're absolutely right. And I think, Wemby does need to be careful because he is gaining this type of reputation. There's a montage on Twitter of Wemby. There's like a montage of Wemby hard fouls already. The grabbing the hair of, who was it? Lou Dort The elbow to the neck of Naz Reid. He's experiencing some very physical play, and players are getting under his skin, and they're getting him to crash out a little bit. They absolutely are, and he does need to chill. He does need to chill, man. He absolutely needs to chill, or he's gonna start to be labeled as a dirty player, man. Let's get to this other topic I wanted to talk about. Z Corp, Stephen Curry, player of the 21st century. I still gotta go LeBron. I still gotta go LeBron, man. LeBron came in the league at 18 years old and was dominant from day one. He is the most rare NBA athlete maybe ever seen. He is the size of Karl Malone. Let me put this into perspective. And there's things I love about LeBron. There's things I hate about LeBron. He is the size of Karl Malone and was sprinting down the floor like a gazelle, dunking from the foul line in the middle of games. I don't know how you could go watch like a montage of young LeBron James. I don't know how you could watch a highlight reel like that and not just say this guy was an unbelievable NBA athlete and it will probably never be seen again. Steph Curry's up there. Kevin Durant's up there. James Harden's up there. Russell Westbrook's up there. Carmelo Anthony's up there. Dwayne Wade is up there. A lot of guys up there. LeBron James is the most rare NBA athlete. Honestly, Wemby is the next rare NBA athlete, but in a different way, obviously. 7'5" versus the athletic, 260-pound, 6'8" maniac that LeBron James is. He'll get suspended looking at Jalen and AV fouls. He'll get suspended looking at Jalen and AV fouls. Corey Williams, I want to like understand your super chats because I'm thankful that you're donating to the show, but I don't know what you're saying. Who will get suspended looking at Jalen? What does that mean? And I apologize that I'm reading it and not understanding what it means, but I just don't really understand what you're trying to say. Let's get to this Jose Alvarado stuff because here's what, if you look at the Wemby play, right, and Knicks fans are saying Wemby should have been ejected, or if Knicks fans are saying it at least should have been a flagrant one, if you're definitely saying it at least should have been a flagrant one on the post-game review, and the NBA looked at it and said, this is not a flagrant one. If you're upset as a Knicks fan, what Spurs fans are saying in response to that is that the New York Knicks players should have been suspended for leaving the bench during the Josh Hart-Luke Cornette scuffle. And so let's read this. Spurs Report at Spurs Reporter, which is just a funny name for Twitter, at Spurs Reporter. Like, this guy is the Spurs Reporter. Dusty Garza, NBA writer, analyst, The Dunk Digest, and Spurs Report. Knicks fans screaming about the league not retroactively upgrading Victor Wembanyama's foul should actually be counting their blessings tonight. Why? Because while they were focused on Wemby, I'm told the NBA league office was reviewing this entire bench clearing sequence and specifically the actions of Jose Alvarado, who previously served a major 3-game suspension for having been involved in a nearly identical bench clearing incident in 2024 against the Miami Heat. I love Jose Alvarado. You got look, all bias aside, all whoever you root for, one side or the, you got to love Jose Alvarado. An undersized player born in New York City, of Puerto Rican heritage. Like, you just gotta love him. You just if you are Puerto Rican, or you've ever hung out with Puerto Ricans, or you've ever had Puerto Rican friends, you just gotta love Jose Alvarado. He just has that. He's scrappy as hell. The way he got there was by believing in himself, but having that attitude, having that scrappiness. It's how he got there. And you just got to love Jose Alvarado. If there's one guy that's not going to be afraid to step up and start a scuffle, it's Jose Alvarado. Shout out to my Puerto Ricans, man. I love that dude. He's great. Anyway, got a little off topic. When the scuffle kicks off under the basket, several Knicks players leave the bench area in the violation of the rules, and Alvarado gets right in the middle of the scrum. He is seen pushing, heavily engaged with both Luke Cornett and De'Aaron Fox, waving his finger and escalating the tension, getting face-to-face with Fox. Under the NBA's strict bench-clearing rules, he is undeniably not acting as a peacekeeper. The Knicks players left the bench before San Antonio called a timeout. If the league had decided to apply the letter of the black and white law regarding bench conduct and physical escalation, as they have multiple times this season, New York could easily be down a crucial backcourt piece for Game 4. So did the NBA look at this and say, look, let's just not call either of these things? That might have actually been what happened. Take the Wembenyama non-upgrade as a wash and be thankful because the Knicks dodged a massive suspension bullet here. That might actually be what happened. Because the NBA does not want anybody to be suspended, because this is one of the best NBA finals they've had in a long time. And you take them, I mean, obviously New York is a major market. This whole thing is a massive business opportunity. You don't want any players to be suspended for any games. So did the NBA look at this and say, look, we could upgrade the Wemby one to a flagrant, and then he would be one flagrant away from a suspension, and we could suspend these Knicks players for leaving the bench, but then the Knicks would be without 4 players in Game 4, and we just don't want any of that to happen. We want the best hoops possible to be out there on a national stage, and so let's just not call either of it. That might have been the actual decision. Anyway, let's rewatch this Josh Hart thing. Because, first of all, I don't even know what the hell Josh Hart was doing. Now, answer me in the chat, answer me in the comments. Do you think Luke Cornett is the kind of guy to take a cheap shot and start a fight? Like, absolutely not. Luke Cornett looks like he plays World of Warcraft after NBA. He looks like he goes home and he plays video games in his basement. He doesn't want to fight. Josh Hart, for some reason, look, the ball goes through the hoop. Why is Josh Hart going after the ball after it goes through the hoop? So Cornett's trying to get the ball just to get the inbound going to run the other way, and Josh Hart steps in front of him to try to grab the ball for no reason. Luke Cornett's like, what the hell was that? Josh Hart gets so mad that he kicks him on the ground. Look at his left knee. You guys see that right there? Look at that. Josh Hart kicks him in the knee. That could be a major injury right there from kicking somebody in the side of the knee like that. So Josh Hart gets away with that. Then he stands up and wants to scrap. And somebody's saying that they cleared the bench after the timeout. That's totally not true. Everybody ran off of the Knicks bench way before the timeout. I mean, this is like they ran off the bench way before a timeout. Now, where's Jose Alvarado at? Jose Alvarado in the middle of it. They're saying he didn't play peacekeeper. The first thing Jose Alvarado does is goes up to Josh Hart to try to hold him back. Dylan Harper gets in the middle of it. Jose Alvarado's pointing at Cornett and telling him, hey, man, I don't know, don't try to inbound the ball next time or something. I'm not sure what Luke Cornett did wrong. De'Aaron Fox and Jose Alvarado are laughing. So I think I'm going to disagree with this, to be honest with you. Technically, yes, the NBA could have suspended guys for leaving the bench according to technical NBA rule. But I don't think Jose Alvarado did anything to escalate the situation. I think he absolutely was being the peacekeeper. He pushes Josh Hart back, and then he just points at Luke Cornett and says, hey, man, don't inbound the ball. Don't play basketball. Next time, you wait until Josh Hart is finished celebrating the play to inbound the ball. But I'm going to disagree with that completely. I don't think Alvarado should have been punished for that. I don't think he did anything wrong. But I guess the NBA could have suspended Knicks players for leaving the bench there. So maybe they looked at it like, let's just cancel these out and let's move on to game 4. Maybe that. Now, give me your opinion on this. Give me your opinion on this, because here's a play that I saw nobody talking about until I saw it this morning. This is the Stephon Castle pulling Jalen Brunson to the ground right here. But Jalen Brunson takes a dive at Victor Wembanyama's left leg. Do you think he just lost his balance? Or do you think this is a cheap shot? Castle pulls the jersey. I think definitely Brunson could have avoided Wemby's left leg. He does throw an elbow out there. He's also just trying to protect himself. I also don't think this is an intentional cheap shot. I think Steph Castle pulled him and Brunson lost his balance. Now that would have very much sucked if Stephon Castle pulling the jersey of Jalen Brunson injured Victor Wembanyama. But I don't think it's Jalen Brunson's job here to lose his balance and choose to protect himself, but also try his hardest to dive out of the way of somebody's leg. And when you play it in slow motion, of course you can say anything in slow motion, but you know, in real time, that's almost a bad injury to Victor Wembanyama, but in real time, that's not a cheap shot if you ask me. Spurs fans are saying that is a cheap shot. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. What else we got, man? A couple more supers here, man. Let's see. Alvarado would when he grabbed by the neck. All right, man. Let's try to figure it out. Let's try to figure it out, bro. Let's see. Let's try to figure it out. Here we go. Number 1, Brunson. Number 2, Alvarado auto suspended. Don't know what that means. The follow-up was he'll get suspended looking at Jalen and Avi fouls. And the follow-up there is Alvarado would when he grabbed by the neck. Alvarado would be suspended if he grabs somebody by the neck. Is that what you're saying? I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. All right, let's move on. A couple more things before we get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for donating to the show. That's very much appreciated. Will the Spurs win Game 4? Do I make an Eastwood prediction here? I predicted the Spurs win Game 3. I thought that was pretty easy to predict. I thought the Knicks were definitely not going to get another 13 from Landry Shamet. I didn't think they were going to get another 20-piece from Mikal Bridges. They actually got 5 from those guys combined in Game 3. The San Antonio Spurs win Game 4. The San Antonio Spurs win Game 4. What the Knicks need to do in Game 4 is you need less Jalen Brunson hero ball. Jalen Brunson needs to do a better job of getting everybody involved, right? You can't have 11 points from Karl Anthony Towns. You can't have 2 points from Mikal Bridges. You know, you need more. You need more moving the ball around from Jalen Brunson. You need more playmaking. You need more getting guys involved. There's too many plays where Jalen Brunson dribbles the ball 21 times and doesn't even think about passing the ball. So less Jalen Brunson hero ball is what the Knicks need. The Knicks are going to need what they got in the first 2 games, which is the contributions from their role players. Mikal Bridges has to have a big game. They're going to need some Landry Shamet buckets off the bench. He has to be better than 1 for 8 from 3. They need a big-time Karl Anthony Towns game. The Knicks need a big-time Karl Anthony Towns game. That's what they need. But on the other side of things, Wemby has now basically dropped 30 in 2 straight games. And again, the Knicks are one Victor Wembanyama turnover away from being down 2-1 in this series. Victor Wembanyama has been playing great for 2 straight games now. I think you could even see, an even better performance from Victor Wembanyama in Game 4. Because maybe Game 2 and 3 was him really just working out the kinks, the jitters, adjusting to how physically the Knicks are going to play him, and kind of a 2-game ramp up. You might see a superstar performance from Victor Wembanyama in this game. The second thing I think is the Spurs won Game 3 with Dylan Harper shooting 1 for 8 from 3-point range. And De'Aaron Fox, was De'Aaron Fox a brick fest again? Or did he have a good game in game 3? I forget. Let's go back to Game 3 real quick. Let's go back to Spurs win 115-111. Yeah, De'Aaron, look, bro. If you look at it like this, the New York Knicks are in trouble. Because they had 2 bad shooting games from Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox. They're 2 main perimeter scoring guards outside of Stephon Castle, who's also hot and cold, hit or miss, right? Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox combined for 9 for 32 from the field, and the Spurs still won the game. If the San Antonio Spurs get better production and better shooting, just straight better shooting, if the San Antonio Spurs just get better shooting from Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox, they're winning Game 4. If all the same things happen that happened in Game 3, and the Knicks get more production out of Mikal Bridges and Landry Shaman and some other role players, but on the other side, Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox don't go 1 for 13 from 3, Spurs are still winning Game 4. And oh my goodness, if the New York Knicks went up 2-0 in this series through fucking parades, through parties, and then they go back to New York and everybody's there. Oh, Timothy Chalamet. Oh, the actors from the NYPD Blue or whatever. Like, everybody's there cosplaying as Knicks fans, right? Jimmy Fallon's there. Everybody's there. And they lose. If that level of hype surrounded Game 3 and 4 and they lose both games, yikes. Because Knicks fans saw Game 1 and 2 and said, it's a sweep. Knicks fans saw Game 1 and Game 2 and they thought, there's no way the Spurs counter. There's no way the Spurs do anything different. There's no way the Knicks do anything different. And it's a sweep. The Knicks fans forgot that this is a 7-game series. And every single game is different. Spurs win Game 4. And the series is tied 2-2 going back to San Antonio. And if the Knicks lose this game, the NBA world is going to explode. And Spurs fans, be smart. Be smart this time. All right, Spurs fans? If the Knicks lose this game to tie the series 2-2, take the jersey off. Do not walk through New York City with a Spurs jersey on. If the Knicks lose this game, be smart. Take the damn jersey off. Spurs win Game 4, guys. Spurs win Game 4, man. Corey Williams, I was trying to say move. I'm talking about Game 1 and 2 when he tossed Alvarado by the neck. I don't even remember him tossing Alvarado by the neck. Oh, that was at like mid-court, right? They were running like mid-court, and he was like, get off of me. Yeah, okay. I got you. I got you, bro. I got you. I got you. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, Donald Trump will not attend Game 4, unfortunately. So the blatantly obvious bad energy that Donald Trump brought to Game 3, and look, I'm not going with politics here. I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter or a Trump hater or anything like that. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't get into that. My life is sports. I talk sports. But I do think that just the Knicks being on a roll, right? And then the president be like, I'm going to go to Game 3. And then they have to shut down the whole damn city because obviously it's the president and everybody, tries to take him out all the time. So you have to have all the Secret Service measures to lock down the city so somebody doesn't bring a damn bomb into the town or something. I do think that just that whole fiasco kind of threw the energy off a little bit. There's something about it, And I do think this too, man. I think Trump going to Game 3, right, and acting like I'm a real Knicks fan, and I'm not saying he's not. He's from New York, but Trump going to Game 3 and doing the whole, like, I'm a real Knicks fan, I'm going to Game 3, and then bringing the whole Secret Service because he has to because you got to protect the president, and bringing that whole fiasco to Game 3, and then not sitting courtside. Sitting in a suite. Oh, I'm a real old school Knicks fan. I'm going to the game. We're shutting down the whole city so I can go to the game, and I'm gonna sit up in a suite. That's a little bit fraudulent. So I think that was some bad juju on the game. And so as a prolific Knicks hater, Shams said, yeah, he's not going to Game 4. That's all I got, man. That's all I got. Spurs are winning Game 4. I'll see you guys right here, live, right after the game. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for tuning in. I love you. Peace.